And so once you got that whole brain science in your head, you were like, okay, now I can treat this as a machine, as a biochemical machine, and I'm going to start playing with it and see what I can do. Correct. And you started having successes in these different parts of your life, and you became extremely focused at school, and then extremely focused on changing your body and like dieting / starving yourself. But you also showed you could do it with the right mindset. And so you started seeing that, okay, I can do this, and I can do this. And that brought you success at Quest to a certain extent?
Very much so. So Quest so we used to joke that Quest was an overnight success 12 years in the making. So it was all the stuff that we did behind the scenes. Like, first of all, the guys who ended up becoming my partners in Quest first just hired me as a copywriter at their technology company. Right. But they used to say to everybody, look, we're looking for partners. We settle for employees. So if you want to work your way up in the company, you could even earn your way into ownership. You just have to become the right person for the job. You're going to have to, essentially break yourself in half. And like, if you see the problems that we face and you help us overcome those problems, why wouldn't we make you a partner? Because you're making the pie bigger.
They told you stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like an investor? No.
Start thinking like an owner.
Like an owner.
Yeah.
And then you can have any job you want. You just have to prepare yourself for that job.
Yeah, you have to have the skills, right?
Yeah.
So I ended up becoming the chief marketing officer. If you want to be the chief marketing officer, you better be the one that knows more about marketing than anyone else. Like, if we were going to do an open call for this, you better be the right person for the role. And so I took them seriously, and I watched so many people like bounce. Either they couldn't keep up, it was a very intense environment, so a lot of people just couldn't handle the intensity. And then
like long working hours, intense people.
Intense people is maybe a better way to say it.
Let's go now. What's your problem?
Yeah, like your boy out there with the documentary. This is
like John Joseph.
Yeah, it's
in your
it's
face.
An Iron Man, not
a little bit of hazing, hardcore. Let's go.
Hazing's probably not quite the right, but it's like, all right, motherfuckers, we're here to do this, and either you're in or you're out. You know what I mean? It was just intense. And it was the perfect thing for me. So what I needed to learn, I was very soft as a kid. Nobody told me to toughen up. I was a kid that would get hit in the leg with a soccer ball and start crying.
And walk off the pitch and quit.
100%. That was me all day long. And so now I was in an environment where it was like, yo, nobody here respects that. So like, you better fucking get it together. And that was exactly what I needed, which is why like I have a lot of pushback with where culture is going right now, because it doesn't serve, especially young men. It just doesn't serve to allow people to not, you got to toughen the fuck up. That's just the truth of it.
Right.
If you want to succeed, like you don't have a moral obligation to be as soft as you want, but I'm here to tell you, if you have a vision of your life and where you want to go, it's going to be fucking hard. Think about running an Ironman. You have to toughen up. Like you literally have to change your body to be capable of doing those things. And so the same is true of the mind. You have to train your mind to be capable of sticking through, working crazy long hours, learning things you don't want to do. Like I will tell you right now, the thing that kills entrepreneurs faster than failure is boredom. People just can't do boring shit. They can't do it for extended amount of time. They can't like have a vision of who they want to become and fight through all the bullshit that they're going to have to get there. You're just going to have to. So it's like, that's why so few people end up succeeding, is just the level of tenacity you have to show is insane.
To just grind it out every day with a singular vision. Yeah.
Yeah, so learning how to believe in what you're doing, learning how to connect to the mission, learning how to be passionate about what you're doing. So back to your thing, what do I think of people that say, pursue your passion? You're damn right. Otherwise, you're going to run out of energy. You just have to realize you cultivate the passion before you can pursue it.
And I love your expression, the struggle is guaranteed. So you might as well, you're going to be struggling no matter what.
For sure.
So you might as well do something that you're going to enjoy, or that's something that sits core into your being and what you love. Yeah. Technique is a word that you like to use, and you just mentioned skill set. So why don't we define that? Because this is kind of your entire philosophy of life, I think. Because the way you talk about this word, it involves not only skills and practical things, but also philosophy, purpose, and everything. So.
Yeah, so techne is an ancient Greek word that I've sort of twisted to my own means, but here's my definition. It is a set of skills that matter to you, that you work extraordinarily hard to build, so they are unique to you, that allow you to serve not only yourself, but other people. So we are a social creature. So I always want people to understand that there are certain things in you, hardwired into you, that if you ignore at your peril, and if you leverage, can really propel you forward, such as helping other people. It feels good. You were saying it's so immediate. When you do something nice for somebody, you feel that shit right then, man. It feels awesome. And like when you see people like really like fighting and just like think of Hurricane Katrina, to use a nice American disaster, where people flew from all over to come and help and save people. And it's like, dude, people working more than 24 hours without stopping. I mean, it's just like working until they collapse. It's crazy, but when you feel like you can help another human being alleviate suffering, like people go all in, man. That is innate to us. We want to do that. We're gonna get this neurofeedback loop of this feels awesome. I feel good. I feel urgency. Like I cannot stop myself. I have to help. And that's so powerful. And if you can make your business about that, now all of a sudden, like the thing for me, I hate working with my hands. I hate it. I hate grease on my hands, all that shit. And at Quest, I was the first of the 3 partners to go full time. So the other 2 continued running the software company, so we had like the fallback in case something went wrong, and I started Quest. And I was having to repair equipment, which is something I absolutely fucking hate. So when I was under equipment, and I'm talking like you're working, it's 2 a.m. on a Friday and your knuckles are bleeding from like trying to fix something, and you're thinking, what am I doing? I kept saying, I'm here to save my mom and my sister, because they were morbidly obese. And I knew if I couldn't give them food that they could choose based on taste that happened to be good for them, that I would literally lose them too soon. And so I was like, that's what this is about. That's why I'm here. I'm not here to get rich. I am here to save my mom and my sister.
Was that real, or was that the story you had to tell yourself to keep going?
Both. Like if you don't understand that, like you have to create a story, you've almost got to mythologize it. That's how you turn it into this, you know, inferno of desire. It's like, my mom and my sister didn't ask me to save them. It's not like they were in imminent peril, but it was, I chose to focus on that. Because I remember thinking, all right, I've got one partner who's really, really knowledgeable about nutrition. And I was like, if we're gonna keep working together, we should be doing something around that. He wants to do something around that. How can I connect to that? Well, I could connect to that because if we're solving metabolic syndrome, then man, my family is like primary candidate number 1. So I'm just gonna think about them. And there's a quote, it's attributed to Mother Teresa, but I'm not sure she actually said it, but I'll give it to her anyway. And that is, no one will act for the many, but people will act for the one. So basically stop thinking about solving the world's problems. Find somebody you know and love that has that problem and solve it for them. And so I was like, cool, my mom and my sister, that's all I'm gonna think about. It's people I see all the time. I love them fucking dearly. I really don't want to lose them, so there's nothing that I have to fake. And then I just associate it to ending metabolic disease. If I can help them, the knock-on effect is that I'll help hundreds of millions, maybe 1 billion people. So, but when I'm under the machine and my knuckles are bleeding, I was definitely thinking of them. And I had the neurochemical reward.
Okay, and just quickly aside on the machine, is there an upside to doing work that you absolutely hate? Or do you think you could have skipped that? Or does that do something like callous the brain, as our good friend David Goggins would say?
If you know how to frame it, for sure, and it would be exactly that. It's become a super powerful story. And I was aware of that at the time. I thought, hey, you're gonna get to tell the story that at 2 a.m. on a Friday, which is a real story, that you did this and you stuck through it and you won, because I was afraid we were gonna lose the product, which back then we could not afford. And if I couldn't fix the wrapping machine, we were gonna lose the product. So I'm like, dude, fucking get through this. You've got this, don't back down, not for anything, like you can figure this out. And so understanding the power of self-narrative and that I would get that cool thing, knowing that I was fighting for my mom and my sister, like getting the whole big story and telling myself over and over and over what I was doing, you hype yourself up. I mean, you state shift, right? So you go from being pissed that you're there at 2 a.m. on a Friday and your knuckles hurt to, all right, I'm a fucking stud, I will see this through, and it just changes your entire frame of reference.